They found her in a dumpster behind a gas station, my daughter half conscious, skin blue from the cold. 6 hours in freezing rain, 8 years old. The call came while I was in a Delta Force briefing. Sir, emergency services here. Your daughter's been located. Hypothermia, possible frostbite. Everything after that blurred, men's voices turning into static, the projector light cutting through the dark room like a blade. I remember standing, my chair fell backward, echoing like a gunshot. When I reached the hospital, she was a small shape wrapped in thermal blankets. Her lips trembled when she saw me. Daddy! The nurse said she'd been locked outside overnight, 20 degrees. Her stepfather told investigators she wouldn't stop crying for her real dad. She lost 3 toes. I didn't speak, didn't curse, didn't cry. My colonel looked at my face and said quietly, "Go handle your family emergency, soldier." He had no idea he'd just signed a death warrant. At the hospital, my ex-wife sat by the window. She didn't look at me. "Jason, it was an accident. He didn't mean—" "Stop." She stopped. I studied her reflection in the glass, the trembling lip, the guilt rehearsed to look genuine. She'd remarried fast after our divorce. Her new husband, Mark, played the part. Perfect suburban stepfather. PTA meetings, church Sundays. But that night, when they wheeled my daughter to surgery, I saw bruises on her shoulders that didn't come from cold. Fingertip marks. I didn't ask questions. Questions are for men who still believe in answers. Instead, I watched. The way my ex's eyes flicked when the nurse mentioned investigation. The way Mark avoided mine in the hallway, pretending to study his shoes. Something else was there, beneath the guilt, beneath the fear. Something that smelled like deceit. The days blurred. My daughter slept through morphine drips. I stayed in that hospital chair, pretending calm. At night, I drove to their house, sat across the street. Lights out by 11. One night, I saw him, Mark, carrying out a box to his car, glancing over his shoulder. It wasn't guilt, it was panic. I followed him. He parked by a storage unit 2 towns over, unlocked it, went inside. 10 minutes later, he left, empty-handed. I waited, then broke the lock. Inside, boxes stacked high, labeled with dates. One read, 2018, custody hearing. Inside, photos, USB drives, letters, all about me. My ex-wife's handwriting, describing Jason's instability, violent tendencies, military trauma. They had built a narrative, a file, years of fabrication. My ex-wife feeding her new husband stories about me, dangerous, unfit, volatile. He'd believed her, and he'd taken it upon himself to protect her. That's why he locked my daughter out. He thought he was saving her, from me. I copied everything, every file, every note, every photo. Then I closed the door and left it looking untouched. By morning, I had what I needed. 3 days later, my daughter was stable enough for transfer. Mark and my ex were in the waiting room, whispering. I approached quietly. Handed her a folder. "What's this?" she asked. "Everything you ever said about me," I said. "Every lie." Mark's face drained. He grabbed the folder, flipped through the pages. His eyes widened at her handwriting, her signature. "You told me," he began. She stammered, I just wanted him gone, Mark. He was dangerous." "Dangerous?" he whispered. "You said he hit you." She shook her head violently. "I never said that." "You wrote it." Silence. I stood there, calm, watching the cracks spread through their marriage like fractures in glass. No shouting, no violence, just truth. Precise, surgical. Later that night, I returned to the storage unit with a sheriff's deputy and 2 child welfare officers. Chain of custody, evidence logged, custody hearing reopened. When the officer told my ex she'd be facing charges for falsifying reports, she screamed. When they led Mark away for child endangerment, he looked at me, not with anger, but understanding. He'd been a pawn. "I didn't know," he whispered as they cuffed him. "I know," I said. That was my only mercy. My daughter sleeps peacefully now, her small hand resting in mine. The hospital smells like antiseptic and rain. I look at her and think of the life that nearly ended in a dumpster, because of lies, manipulation, and cowardice. Tomorrow, I'll testify. Calmly, clearly, no rage, just facts. People think revenge means violence. They're wrong. Revenge is truth, delivered without emotion. It's the silence after the explosion, when the dust settles and only clarity remains. My ex will lose custody, her husband will face prison, and I'll walk out of that courtroom free of them both. Not victorious, just done. Some wars don't end with blood. They end when you finally stop caring who dies in the wreckage. And as the rain starts again outside her window, I realize I'm not angry anymore, just empty enough to be free.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.